Of a broken mind for another live mental health Q&A. Sorry I missed Sunday, guys. I just wasn't up to it mentally on Sunday. I was really struggling, but I've had therapy since then, so I'm feeling a lot better, which is why I'm back live again today. Let me just get the chat settings up and running so we can see the chat. All messages, there we go. So welcome back to another live Q&A on Pieces of a Broken Mind. Again, apologies for missing Sunday's live. It wasn't my intention, but I wasn't feeling the best. And I had therapy the next day on the Monday, and that really helped. So, which is why I'm back live again today. But hopefully, I won't miss another live. Fingers crossed. Let's see if that happens. Let's see if that not happens. But welcome back to another live Q&A where we talk about mental health, recovery, trauma, and anything else you guys want to talk about. Because it's not just about me, it's about what you guys are going through as well. And you guys are important to me as well. So, anyone watching this video that's not live, please get in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you're going through. Don't forget, I try to be live every Sunday evening and every Wednesday evening to talk about mental health, to do these live Q&As. But unfortunately, I missed one on the weekend because I wasn't there. I wasn't in the right headspace to be able to hold a live. So it took therapy the next day for me to, sort of get back on top of, my thoughts and my mind. But we're back again with these live Q&As, slightly earlier than planned because of the World Cup. I will be watching the England game later, so I'm slightly live earlier than planned, but I'm here for these live Q&As, and they're important. Men's mental health matters, everyone's mental health matters, everyone is welcome on this channel. Pieces of a Broken Mind was created to help people, to support people, to inspire people, to become confident enough to share their story when it comes to their journey through mental illness, like I do with mine. I share my journey through mental illness. It's not about your past, it's not about your future, it's about what we're going through now. We can't dwell on the past, and we can't worry about the future because it's not here yet. So what can we do? We can talk about our mental health now. We can let people know that it's okay to share what they're going through, and this is why I think these live Q&As are important, to show that there is this type of conversation going on. There are mental health conversations going on YouTube, with real people, with real stories, and lived experience of mental illness, like myself. This is why I go live, to speak to people, to talk to people, to interact with people, and share stories, and not feel alone when it comes to mental health. So for a long time, I was afraid of the stigma. For a long time, I was afraid of the discrimination. So I know how you're feeling if you're suffering in silence, because I've been there with my mental health. My journey through mental illness began in 2022. I had a full mental breakdown in the January, end of January, early February. February, I tried to end my life. Then I was diagnosed with complex PTSD, clinical depression, and anxiety disorder, and ADHD. And also in May, I tried to end my life of 2022 as well. So I've been at rock bottom. I know what it's like. I know what the darkness is. I know what it does to you. I know how it makes you feel. But you're not alone. You don't have to go through it alone. I felt like I did, and it almost cost me my life. But I'm here today to share my story, because I got help, because I found the courage to ask for support. And we all have that courage inside. You just have to. Sometimes you just have to dig a little deeper, and that courage will come to the forefront when you need it. Because you don't just need mental health support, you deserve it. So ask for it. People want to help. There's so many great therapists, counselors, online, and it can all be done online as well. So there's so many ways that you can connect across many social media platforms. So it's important that you share your story. You don't suffer in silence. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Every mind matters. Everyone's mental health matters. And, you know, a conversation is a powerful thing. A mental health conversation can save a life. But on the flip side, if you don't have a mental health conversation, mental health can take a life. So that's how important these conversations are. You know, it's extremely important that we let people know that it is okay to be vulnerable, that it is okay to feel bad, it is okay to feel sad. You know, you're a human being, you're not a robot. And you know, the natural symptoms of mental illness, and I know not everyone will have the same diagnosis. Not everyone will have the same diagnosis as me, and I won't have the same diagnosis as other people who might have other mental health disorders, like, I don't know, schizophrenia or bipolar disorder or dissociative identity disorder. You know, my diagnosis is complex PTSD, ADHD, clinical depression, and, you know, and that anxiety disorder. So you know, those are my challenges, but other people might be going through different challenges. But one thing remains the same: we should all be talking about mental health. We shouldn't be shying away from the fact. We shouldn't be cowering away from, you know, a subject that some people might find a bit awkward or taboo to talk about, because, you know, suicide is still the biggest killer of males under 50, and that's because they feel so lonely. That's because they feel so isolated that they don't ask for help and they end up taking the easy way out. I want you guys to remember this. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. You know, it might feel like that's the only way, but it's not. Recovery is possible. There is hope. I'm living proof of that. I tried to end my life twice, and I'm still here today. I was unsuccessful. And that tells me that you don't decide when it's your time, you know. It wasn't my time, and I was spared to be able to talk about mental health on YouTube. That's what I believe. That's why I created the channel. I created the channel initially as a video diary, so I could, you know, talk to myself about my mental health and listen and process my thoughts verbally. But then I started, you know, some people started watching. Not many. You know, I'm still a very small YouTuber. You know, but a few people watched the videos and people were liking it. You know, and then I sort of gained purpose from that. I gained confidence from that to carry on talking about mental health, and I've been doing it now for 4 years on YouTube, and we share healing conversations on my channel every single day, and I try to upload something every single day to try and inspire someone to talk, to not suffer in silence, and to break the stigma, and end the silence that still surrounds, you know, mental health struggles. So it's important that everyone has the outlet or the ability to be able to talk to someone, whether that be a therapist, whether that be a counsellor, whether that be a support worker, whether that be your local doctor, or whether it be a life coach. Whatever type of support you need, guys, go and get it, because you're worth it, and you deserve the help, you deserve the support. You don't have to go through mental illness alone. You don't have to do what I did. You don't have to do to yourself what I did to myself, through all the self-harm, through all the blood, through all the sweat, through all the tears, through all the pain. You know, it didn't take away from the fact that, you know, even self-harming didn't take away that numbness, or that feeling that there's a void inside me. And it took people to get me back. It took people to bring me back to a point of hope, to a point of, yes, this person can help me. I'm gonna let her help me, him or her, whoever, you know, whoever it is. I'm gonna let this person help me. I'm gonna let them support me, and I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna try to explain what's going on in my head. I'm gonna try and let this person support me. I'm gonna try and let this person co-regulate with me. And I've been in therapy now for the last 4 years. I'm still awaiting a very specific treatment for my PTSD. It's called EMDR treatment, or EMDR therapy. But there's a long waiting list in the UK. 18 months, I was told. And that was only, well, I can't remember now how long I've been on the waiting list. But it's a long time. And also, even though I've been diagnosed with ADHD, I'm still on the waiting list to see a specialist. Because that waiting list is again very shocking. In the UK, the waiting times for mental health support are really bad. So that's why, there's mental health charities, there's the Samaritans, there's support lines, there's life coaches, there's online therapy, online counselling, online life coaching. You can find this all online. All this support that you need is online. And you don't have to go anywhere. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. You can do it over the internet with an online counselor, online therapist, online life coach. And you can turn your life around. Even with my diagnosis, I still, have a professional life. I still work. I still, I still I still am trying to grow, a business. So, your mental health diagnosis doesn't have to define you, um, and it doesn't define me. It's just a part of me, and I'm learning to live alongside my mental illness and not letting it take over my life. Um, and you know, you can't control all your thoughts because sometimes there's too many. But what you can do is stop letting your thoughts control you. So it's important that you know that you're not alone feeling the way you do, because there are many people, many people out there suffering in silence. Um, and I hope those people stumble across this live or someone else's live, or watch a mental health video that helps them, that supports them, that encourages them to have a conversation about mental health. Whether that be any of my content or someone else's content. I just want people to get support, whether it be watching my channel or watching someone else's channel. I just don't want people suffering in silence anymore when it comes to mental health, because they don't have to. um, yeah, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, I want people to understand that these conversations are taking place on YouTube. Not just YouTube. Pieces of a Broken Mind is obviously my YouTube channel. I'm also on TikTok, also on Instagram with Pieces of a Broken Mind. I upload content daily on across those three platforms. And I'm launching a brand new mental health podcast, which launches next month. And that I'm really excited about that. And I have a specific. It won't be featured on this channel. It'll be featured on my podcast channel, which is brand new also. But I'm excited to get into doing mental health podcasts, and it's not just going to be me talking. I'm going to have real people on with real stories, and I'm just going to host the podcast and talk to these people about their lived experience of mental illness. So it gives people hope that if me and my guests can talk about mental health, then anyone can talk about it. So watch out for that podcast. It's coming in July. I will let you guys know the name of it closer to the date, but I am launching a mental health podcast, and I do have my coaching business, so which is important. I have a diagnosis that I have to deal with, that I have to live with every day, that I need therapy for, that I need medication for, and sometimes I'm hard work. Sometimes being alive is hard work. Sometimes getting out of bed is hard work, because of the darkness, because of the loneliness, because of the void, because of the emptiness. It's when you suffer with your mental health, or when you suffer with poor mental health, you'll know what I mean when I say that it's a daily battle inside your mind, whether you live or die, and we have to face that battle head on, and I try to do that through this YouTube channel, through content, through doing these live Q&As, Whether there's one person watching or two people watching, I don't care. As long as it helps one person, then I've done something good for that day. I've shown one person that they can talk about their mental health, and that's all that matters to me. If it was about subscribers, if it was about money, if it was about fame, I would have given up years ago, because I've been doing this for 4 years, and I'm still not monetized, and I'm still a small YouTube channel. So if it was just about the money, I would have given up a long time ago. This channel is about the message. This channel is about this channel has played a part in my road to recovery, and I wanted to play a part in other people's road to recovery also. I just want it to be a channel where people can relate, where people can go and feel safe, and talk about mental health, and without judgment, without fear, without stigma, without discrimination. I want people to be able to say, that's the mental health channel that I watch when I'm down, because we talk about the awkward situations, we talk about the conversations people don't want to talk about. Sometimes I'm too honest with how I feel. Sometimes I'm too honest with how much I self-harm, or how often I have suicidal thoughts, or how often my complex PTSD leaves me feeling empty, numb and void. The nightmares, the flashbacks, they're emotionally and mentally taxing. And like I said, it's an extremely hard journey. I'm not going to lie, and anyone who says recovery is easy, it's not. It's definitely not. And you'll only know that if you're going through it, or you'll only know that if you've been through it. You're at war with yourself most days. I don't know about other mental health disorders. I don't know the ins and outs of those. I obviously focus on what I've been diagnosed with, and that's the complex PTSD surrounding traumas that I've been through, especially trying to end my life twice. Those were very traumatic events that I relive through nightmares, through flashbacks, and I focus on what I got to deal with, but I also know that there's so many different types of mental health disorders. So the conversation is about everyone. It's inclusive of everyone. I do these lives to try and help people, whether one person's watching, two people watching, it doesn't matter. If I can help one person that day feel a bit better about themselves, and that they stumbled across a good channel, then so be it. I don't claim to be anything. I'm not the best YouTuber. I can't edit videos for shit. I wish I could. I've never been that tech savvy. All I know how to do is click go live, or click upload, and upload the video. I talk honestly, I talk openly, I don't edit anything out, so it's raw. If I swear in it, I swear. If I miss my words or I stutter, I still don't edit it out, because I want my podcast to be, I want my mental health channel to be honest. I don't want to hide behind edits and taking this out and taking that out and taking other things out. No, I will say what I want to say, and that will be that. My channel is not edited. It's not watered down. I say it how I'm feeling, and that's important to me. I've always wanted to keep that authenticity when I talk on YouTube. A lot of people will edit out, times when they're thinking about what to say, or they might stutter or something else. I don't edit anything out. Fuck it. It is what it is, My videos are my videos. I try to have conversations about mental health, and I try to help people. I don't care about their past. I don't care about their, what they think they might have done that's wrong, or their mistakes. Mistakes are just lessons. Mistakes are just knowledge on how to be better the next time, I've made mistakes. I've made many mistakes in my life, and I live and swim in regret every single day. But, I'm still here, and it shows that, with help and with support and with the right therapist or counsellor and the right medication, you can get on the road to recovery. You can be better. You can be, mentally more resilient. You know, and that's why I have these live Q&As. I put myself out there. I put myself out there live on YouTube, and I answer questions, and I answer them as honestly as I can. AI Nightmares asks, is OCD related to paranoid? Obsessive compulsive disorder, I haven't myself studied. Is it linked to paranoia? Possibly, but I wouldn't be able to say for sure if that's the case. I'm not a mental health practitioner or doctor. I'm just someone who suffers mental illness, who talks about it on YouTube. There's some idiots in the comments already, I can see, with stupid questions. This is a lot. Would you rather? Dominic Vega says, would you rather kiss a blonde for? What a stupid question on a live that says it's about mental health and recovery. You absolute moron. You need to wind your neck in, and you've just been blocked. You absolute idiot. Wind your neck in, jog on. This is a live Q&A where we talk about mental health. If you want to take your fucking stupid questions elsewhere, then do it. Just fuck off. I haven't got time for idiots in the chat. This is a live mental health Q&A to talk about important things like mental health, like depression, like anxiety, like PTSD, like all those other things. So, when you get idiots in the chat like that, they just get blocked. Morons. Absolute morons. What can you say? On most of the lives that I do, I have one or two idiots, so to speak. But what can that's just the way social media is, I guess. You'll get trolls and idiots wherever you go, even though, the title of the video is about something important, mental health Q&A. They still come in with their stupid questions. It's just ridiculous. But let's get back talking about mental health, because that's what I'm here for. And that's what these live Q&As are for. That's what my channel is for. And this channel will hopefully one day go from strength to strength, and more people will talk about mental health, and more people will join in the conversation, and more people will want to raise awareness about mental health, and raise awareness about stigma, and raise awareness about discrimination that still surrounds mental illness. So I'm trying to show people that you can talk about it, and it's okay, and in many ways it's shown me that I can talk about mental health. I can go to a place where I can say exactly what's going on in my head, no matter how dark it might be. I'm able to go to that place because I find talking helps me. I find talking helps the mess that's going on in my mind, because my mind doesn't switch off. It's thought after thought after thought after thought after thought after thought, and 90% of them are really bad, related to self-harm or suicide. But I have a great support network, and I'm working on that, and it's important that I emphasize that I do have a great therapist. She's great, and if I didn't have her, then who knows. But I did find a therapist that I can really open up to, and that's important. So it might be tough sometimes. I know therapy is not for everyone. I can only speak on my own personal experiences with therapy, and they've been positive. They've been positive for me. They've played a massive part in, getting me to a place where I'm, able to understand what my mental illness is, learn to live alongside it, and wait for the treatment, and therapy's done that for me, and it can do that for you. And therapy is not something that you want to do, then just talk to someone. It can be anyone, family, friend, work colleague, whoever. Just open up about what's going on in your mind. Open up about why you feel so alone. Someone will listen to you. Sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger about these things, but there are things you can do. You don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to go through these types of thoughts alone. And that's what I try to emphasize on this channel. That's what I try to emphasize with every video that I make about mental health, is that if I can talk about it, then anyone can talk about it. If I can talk about mental health and mental illness and my diagnosis, then you can talk about your diagnosis as well. That's ultimately what this channel is about. I don't care that it's not a big channel. I don't care that I don't get millions and millions of views. I'm just trying to help one person at a time, through conversation, through talking. And if I show up for other people and show people that you can talk about it, then other people will start showing up for themselves, and that's ultimately what I want. Like I said earlier in the live stream, if this was all about money and fame and subscribers, I would have quit a long time ago, because I've been doing this every day for 4 years on YouTube without getting anything for it. Not monetized yet. Still below 5,000 subscribers. So if it was about money, I would have given up a long time ago. It's more important to me than that. It's about the message. It's about the conversations. It's about showing people that they don't have to go through what I did. They don't have to do to themselves what I did to myself. Because you can talk about it. It's important to talk about it, and there's many different things that you could talk about, and there's many different avenues and ways of getting help and support. So just find it within yourself to have that courage to say, I'm vulnerable, I need help, I can no longer do this alone. That's what I did. It was tough. Acceptance is a very hard thing. It's hard to accept that you can't overcome this alone, and I get that. But once you find the acceptance, you'll see how beneficial the help can be, and then you'll be more open to working with that help. So, you need to be willing to help yourself. You need to be willing to accept, what's going on in your mind, and that you need help, and that's important. It's important that you understand that you can change things. You can change. If you don't like the path that you're walking on, start walking a new path. Only you can change that. Only you can make that decision. Only you can make that choice. No one can make it for you. People can support you, like a counsellor or a therapist or a coach, but you're the one that has to do the work. You're the one that has to go through the recovery. You're the one that has to find the courage to talk about it. But once you do, honestly, you'll start feeling a lot better about yourself, because you won't have the weight of the world on your shoulders. Raslin says OCD is related to anxiety. Okay, thank you for the information. I will take your word for that. Raslin says paranoid is more schizophrenia. Okay, yeah, I get that. Schizophrenia is, I can understand that. Like I said, I educate myself around PTSD and complex PTSD, which is what I've been diagnosed with. So I'm not too familiar I know the names of the other mental health disorders, and I know there are many, but I don't, really know the ins and outs of every single one. Cristo Farino says, do a backflip. How about I flip you off and then block you, you absolute fucking moron. This is a live Q&A where we talk about mental health and recovery, and you're asking me to do a backflip. You just had your neck wound in, jog on, you absolute muppet. This is a live Q&A where we talk about mental health, recovery, trauma. You don't need idiots in the chat like that. Do a backflip, jog on, you fucking muppet. But back to mental health. Yeah, I'm aware of the other disorders, but I don't fully know a lot about them because I've focused my mind around learning all about complex PTSD, which is what I've been diagnosed with. So, Raslin has given some information there. Hopefully that helps. And there's still a lot of things to do with the mind that are still still unsolved. Your mind's a very powerful thing, both good and bad. It's a very powerful tool. It's a force for good, but it's also a force for bad. And my mind most of the time is bad, because of the reliving the suicide attempts, because of reliving other traumas, of other mistakes that I've made. It is what it is. But if anyone has a different mental health disorder and they want to talk about it, that's why I'm here. That's what I do these live Q&As for. I try to help, I try to support, I try to listen. And yeah, in my professional life, I'm a life coach, but that's different to therapy and counselling. It's completely different. It's nothing to do with mental illness or mental health. Life coaching, that is about motivation, about mindset, about purpose, clarity, perspective. That's different. Mental illness needs to be dealt with by a mental health professional, whether that be a psychotherapist, a counsellor, or whatever. So don't get the two confused. There is coaching, but there's mental health support, which is obviously what you need if you're suffering with any type of mental health disorder. You need to see a mental health professional, and if you can't find one in in your local area, or there's a waiting list, you can get online therapy. You can find an online therapist. So there is help. I know it feels like there's not, because I felt like that. And there's a video on my YouTube channel about my very first mental health assessment. It was so shocking that I had to do a video about it. It was a disgraceful situation. So I know getting mental health help is hard. But don't let it put you off. Don't say, this person's not helping me, so I'm not going to try and get it from someone else. You need to find the right help and support for you. Everyone's recovery journey will look different, and it's important that you don't compare yourself to other people, because people have different disorders, different feelings, different reactions. So just focus on yourself, focus on the help that you're getting, focus on your recovery journey, listen to the mental health professionals, and really work towards making yourself, or learning to live alongside your mental illness, because we'll probably never fully get over them, but we can learn to live alongside them, and that's the most important thing. there's currently no one watching, but I'm still live. Maze Runner 7845 says I subbed. Thank you very much, my friend. I really appreciate you subscribing. It's only a few clicks for you guys, but it means so much to me in the channel. So thank you, Maze Runner. I really appreciate the support. And welcome to this live Q&A design where we talk about mental health and trauma and recovery and stigma and all of those things. But I really appreciate you subscribing. That means a lot to me in the channel. So thank you, Maze Runner. And there are good people out there that want to listen, that want to help, that will support, and I've seen that on YouTube. Even though I'm still a small channel, I still speak to good people. I still get positive comments. I still get positive feedback from some of my videos, so there is good people out there. There are people that want to listen. There are people that understand what you're going through and can relate to what you're going through. You don't have to expect everyone to be this nice person, because you're not going to get it. The world's a very cruel place. It's a very cold place, and most of the time people just want to bring you down. Most of the time people just want to criticize you and judge you, because it makes them feel better about themselves somehow, that they're judging other people, because they're too scared to face themselves. They're just too scared to admit their own flaws, their own mistakes, so they have to project it onto other people through being nasty and leaving stupid comments and all of those things. But that's just social media for you. You have to be willing, if you're going to put yourself out there on YouTube, you have to be willing to take the criticism, even though most of it is idiotic, and people come into a live mental health Q&A and just talk nonsense. But it is what it is. I'll still continue to do these live Q&As to try and help anyone out there who might stumble across this live, who thinks that they're on their own when they're not, because there's always something available on my channel. On this channel now, Pieces of a Broken Mind, I have over 3,000 pieces of content about mental health, and stigma and discrimination and my journey through mental illness. So there's always something you can watch. If I'm not live, there's content you can watch, guys, whether it be long form or short form. If I'm not live, there is content you guys can watch and catch up with. And I do my best to be live every Wednesday evening and every Sunday evening. I missed Sunday, unfortunately, because of my mental health, and I wasn't in a good headspace. But I try to be live every Wednesday, every Sunday. But if I'm not live, there are videos on the channel about mental health, about my journey through mental illness, that you can watch and you can relate to and you can comment. I reply to all my comments. I don't ignore any comments. I reply to all of them, because if someone's taken time out of their day to watch something that I've done, they deserve a reply from me if they've left a comment. So you can message me. You can post in the community tab. You can leave a comment, but don't think just because I'm not live that there's nothing on the channel to watch. There's over 3,000 pieces of different types of content on the channel ready for you guys to watch, both long form, live streams, YouTube shorts, motivational posts. There's always something on the channel that you can interact with, that you can resonate with, that you can comment about, that you can talk about, and ultimately spark these conversations, which is what we're trying to do, by sparking the conversation about mental health. I'm obviously slightly earlier tonight than I would normally be because of the World Cup. I am going to be watching the England game this evening, which is why I'm live slightly earlier than normal. But I'm here. I didn't want to miss another live. Hopefully England will win. Not that I'm not from England. I am based in the United Kingdom. I'm based in Wales, but I am watching the World Cup at the moment, and England are playing tonight, so I am going to watch that game, which is why I'm live slightly earlier with this live mental health Q&A because of the World Cup later on. I'm aware that Portugal are winning at the moment, but I'm going to be watching the England-Croatia game this evening, so I'm earlier. I'm in an earlier slot than I would normally be. I am live slightly earlier than I would normally be because of the World Cup, which has been a good watch so far. I've really enjoyed the World Cup. There's been some good games, some good goals. And anything that you're passionate about helps your mental health, helps your mental well-being. I love football. I've played football all my life. I'm not I'm no good. I'm not a professional, but I like football. I've supported Man United for over 30 years. And the World Cup's been a good experience so far. So yeah, I'll be watching that tonight. But these live Q&A will revert back to the normal time slots on a Sunday and a Wednesday evening after the World Cup is over. I tend to want to go live later in the evening because I tend to get more people watching the later I go live, and there are more people willing to talk about mental health maybe a bit later on in the evenings. Maybe they have kids or whatever. It's hard finding a balance of when to go live and when to hit the right type of audience. But I stay live for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes longer, depending on the conversation and how it's going and how the live is going. But I always go live for the minimum for 1 hour to talk about mental health and recovery. Every Wednesday, every Sunday. With the exception of sometimes I'm mentally unable to go live, so depends on my mental state, but I aim to go live and have these live mental health Q&As every Wednesday and every Sunday evening, and they will be reverting back to their normal time slots after the World Cup is finished. But because of the World Cup, I go live slightly earlier so I can watch the games in the evening. But I've enjoyed this live when there was, I think maximum I've had about 3 people watching, and I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm talking about mental health. It helps me, and even if I can help just one person, then I'm happy. It's a win for me. Sometimes these live Q&As, I talk to no one for an hour, but I still do it because people can watch it later on. They can watch, and listen to what I've got to say, and then add a comment and let me know how they are, which is why I've titled this video Mental Health Live Q&A. Let's talk about what you're going through. That's what I want to do. I want to talk to you guys about what you're going through, what I'm going through. You don't have to tell me the ins and outs of your traumas, because I don't tell people the ins and outs of my traumas, except the 2 suicide attempts, which I am honest about, but the rest of it is personal between me and my therapist and counsellor. So, but I'm open about trying to end my life twice in 2022, because that's important. It's an important conversation that a lot of people don't have, and a lot of people shy away from having that conversation in fear of getting banned or whatever. I think talking about it is so empowering for other people. It's so positive that people are talking about mental health, that we shouldn't censor or try and stop people talking about whatever mental health issues they've got. They should be applauded. They should be given credit for talking about it. And yeah, it's extremely important that we understand that We're not robots. We are human beings. We feel things. We make mistakes. We make the wrong decisions. But we can't beat ourselves up for the rest of our life for those mistakes and wrong decisions. Because, you're just existing then. You're not living, You need to forgive yourself and move on. You need to admit, you need to face those mistakes. Sometimes sometimes you do have to revisit the past in order to be able to move forward. So you need to face those issues. You need to face those past things that you've been running away from, and once you've done that, you can finally move forward. Because a lot of people seem to be just running away from life, and running away from problems. And that I was one of those people. I was one of those people who tried to hide behind a smile, who tried to hide behind a fake facade, but inside I was broken, but no one saw that. So sometimes you do have to revisit the past in order to be able to move on. But you can revisit the past, you can face it, and you can turn around and go forward. You don't have to stay there, So stop beating yourself up about the past. Stop beating yourself up about any mistakes that you've made. It's life. Life goes on, and we need to move on with it. And of course, it's the live aspect of YouTube is important, because you get to talk to people when there are people watching, you get to talk to people in real time. And that's why I like doing these live Q&As. And I always, none of the live sessions are below an hour, because I believe I have to, a minimum of an hour. I have to make myself available. Anything over an hour is a bonus. I go as long as I can, or as long as I feel like I can. Anywhere between an hour and a half is normally, how long these live Q&As go. So, as long as I've done an hour, as long as I've made myself available, as long as I've put myself out there, I've shown up for myself, I've shown up for my subscribers, I've shown up for people who are suffering in silence when it comes to mental illness. If I've shown up, they'll see that, and hopefully that will inspire them to show up for themselves, and it'll show them that they can talk about what they're going through. Because if I can talk about it, I've said many times, if I can talk about it, anyone can talk about it. And that's the important thing to understand. It is what it is, and once you understand that, once you accept that, you can finally move forward. And we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but what we can do is be present in the moment. And enjoy those moments. Celebrate the small wins. We can look forward instead of looking backwards. We can learn from our mistakes instead of punishing ourselves because of the mistakes. We can also talk to people instead of shutting people out like I used to. You don't have to hurt yourself anymore, because there's people out there that want to help you, that want to support you. And even though, unfortunately, it is an old habit that I haven't been able to kick, I still do self-harm when it gets really on top of me. But it's an old habit that I've used. It's like a coping mechanism that I've developed to bring me back to the moment. That short, sharp bit of pain helps me bring me back to the moment. Because the nightmares and the flashbacks take me to places where, I was at rock bottom, and they were tragic times in my life, trying to end my life, wanting your life to end, and not wanting to continue. It's hard to come back from that once you've accepted that you wanted your life to be over. It's hard to accept that you can continue, but you can, with help and with support, you can continue, and you will continue, because you're stronger than you'll ever give yourself credit for. You're much stronger than you'll ever give yourself credit for. You don't think that you can survive anymore, but you can, because 100% of your bad days you've already survived, because you're here today. If you woke up today, that's a blessing. If you woke up today, it's a gift. You don't have to keep going back to closing yourself off to the world, you know. Because why should you? These live mental health Q&As are important for not just me, it helps me verbalize what's going on in my head. Helps me. It's like another therapy session for me. Obviously, it's just me talking, but it's still like therapy, because there's so many comparisons between going live on YouTube and talking to to a camera and a therapist, because the camera is just there listening to me, and so is the therapist. My counsellor is there listening and then asking questions. Same as these lives. I'm talking to a camera that's listening, and then some people who watch the lives will ask a question, and then so it is like another therapy session for me. It does help. It does play a part in my recovery, and I will continue to do so. And I'm really excited for the future of this channel, if people can support it, if people can get behind it, if people really want to raise awareness about men's mental health and everyone's mental health, because everyone's mental health matters. Everyone is important. Whatever you're going through is valid. Your traumas are valid. Your feelings are valid. And every individual deserves help and support when they need it. And that's what I try to portray on my channel. That's the message that I try to put out there. Everyone deserves help. Everyone deserves support. And you're one of those people. This channel is diverse and it's for everyone. I want people of all walks of life to be a part of my community. I regularly post in the community tab as well, so you can message me there, you can drop a comment there, you can leave comments on my other videos, and I'll always get back to you, because I believe in that. I believe in replying to people who have taken their time out of their day to watch something I've done. I believe in replying to those people, and these live Q&As help me do that. They help me connect with my audience. They help me connect with my subscriber base. And I've been doing these live mental health Q&As because I have done live streams before on the channel about mental health and talking about men's mental health and everyone's mental health and PTSD, depression, anxiety, all of those things. And all of those live streams are still on my channel. But these live Q&As, I think I've been doing for, I don't know, maybe a few months, because before that they were just more like a podcast episode, but this is a live Q&A, a vertical live stream, and I really enjoy them. Even when I get no people watching, I still enjoy listening to myself and talking about it, because I've talked about mental health that day. I've done something good. It might help someone one day, so don't think because you've missed me being live that there's nothing on my channel for you to watch. Mental health content on my channel is always there, both long form, short form, and in the community tab. I have over 3,000 pieces of content about mental health and raising awareness and challenging stigma on my channel. So if you miss me being live for that hour or so on a Wednesday or a Sunday, there's still my videos there for you guys. You can still watch. I'd rather you all just subscribe to the channel, and we can grow this channel together. You can be a part of the channel success, because I'm not creating this community on my own. It's about people, it's about connection, it's about conversation, it's about support, it's about empathy, and it's about understanding each other and supporting each other through mental health, and through their journey through mental illness, depending on what diagnosis they have. Each individual will feel differently about what they've got, but the one thing that remains the same is that we should all have this conversation. We should all be a part of that. We should all understand that. We should all push for that. We should all keep doing that. And mental, there's a lot. Don't get me wrong. If you search mental health on YouTube, you'll see loads of mental health content. But I think my content is real. I think it's more real because it's raw, it's honest. I don't hide anything. I don't edit anything. I don't take anything out. I say what I say, and it is what it is. I don't try to be anything I'm not. I don't claim to be perfect. I've made multiple mistakes in my life. Like I said before, I swim in regret every single day. But I'm learning to move forward with my life, I can't go back and change those things, those mistakes. It is what it is. And once you get that acceptance, you will be able to move forward as well. Through the good times, through the bad times. If I've learned anything these last 4 years, going through mental illness, is that life goes on. Whatever is happening to you, whatever you're going through, life will continue to keep moving forward. So you need to keep moving forward with it. You need to be able to learn to move forward, because life's going to go on anyway, with or without you. And one day, years down the line, your life's going to flash before you, and then you need to make sure that it's worth watching. So cherish those moments, celebrate the small wins, improve the relationship that you have with yourself, because the best relationship you'll ever have is the one that you have with yourself, because you're with yourself 24 hours a day. So speak to yourself kinder, talk to yourself more, with more empathy, and give yourself a break, because why are you punishing yourself? You've suffered enough. You don't have to suffer anymore. You don't have to keep suffering. You shouldn't have to keep suffering. And don't give up. Just never give up. Every time that you get knocked down, find a way to get back up. However you do it, whatever it takes. Don't forget, guys, you control the outcome. Whatever happens, you control what happens next, how you react to it, because life is 10% about what happens to you, but 90% of how you react to it. So you choose what power you give these situations in the way that you choose to react. You choose, you have choice, you control the outcome. It's always been on you, and it is on you, but it's always been on you. And when you know that, that's all you need to count on, is yourself. Because you control the outcome. You know that you can do this. You know that you've survived 100% of your bad days. You've done it. You've survived it. And you can continue to survive it. You can continue to improve. You can continue to flourish. You can continue to be the best version of yourself. And I feel like I'm the best version of myself when I'm helping people by talking on YouTube and helping people in my professional life. And that's how I feel. That's when I feel at my best. But fall in love with finding the best version of yourself. Fall in love with that fear of trying to find the best version of yourself, because once you do, you'll be unstoppable. unstoppable. And like I said, I really hope this live Q&A has helped. I really hope, if you haven't watched live, and you watch this live later on, just leave a comment. Just leave a comment in the live. Leave a comment on the video. Let me know what you're going through, which is why I titled this live Q&A. Let me know what you're going through, mental health live Q&A, because I wanted this to be about you guys. I wanted to talk about what you wanted to talk about with your mental health. So if you haven't been a part of the live, which not many people have because it's been going between 2 and 4 most of the lives, just leave a comment. Let me know how you are, what you're going through. I reply to all my comments, and yeah, I will reply to you. Like I said, I'm live slightly earlier than normal because of the England match, which I will be watching this evening. Just checking the channel now. Don't forget, I've got some great YouTube shorts, guys, on the channel for you guys to watch. Really excited about the channel's future. Really excited about my podcast, my brand new podcast that launches on its own channel in early July. And I'm really excited for the future of building a channel about a community about mental health and recovery and trauma, and helping and supporting each other through life's difficult times. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this evening's live Q&A. Thank you to everyone who watched, however briefly you watched for. Thank you for everyone who's subscribed to the channel. Look after yourself, look after your family and friends, and I'll see you all soon on Pieces of a Broken Mind. Take care.